All right, no big intro. I'm going to show you 2 ways that I would set up YouTube Shorts ads to acquire more customers, make more money, smash that like button, eviscerate that subscribe button so that I can make my mom proud. Let's get after it. So we're going to click create campaign. I would just create a campaign without a goals guidance. Make sure this is a video campaign, and then the subtype of that video campaign is going to be, there's a lot of other campaign subtypes. Make sure you select video views for this particular campaign. Campaign name, we'll get to that in a little bit. I have a specific naming convention that I'm going to share with you for the campaign, for the ad group, and for the ad itself. So we'll get into that in a second. For ad formats, make sure you deselect skippable in-stream and in-feed as we're focusing on shorts only. Bid strategy can only be target CPV, but that stands for target cost per view. For budget and dates, you're going to change this to a daily budget. I'm just going to do $50 per day as a placeholder. Obviously, your budget will need to be in alignment with what your actual budget is. For networks, you're going to deselect video partners on the Google Display Network. We do not want the video ads to go outside of YouTube, and this would show on other sites and apps that are in the Google Display Network. Google just wants you to spend more money on crappy placements, let's just face it. Locations, the United States exclusively. For languages, we're going to do English in this instance. If you're running it in China or any other country, make sure you select the particular language that pertains to that country. Related videos, so these are videos related to your video ads to help increase engagement. This only pertains to the in-stream component of the campaign, and since we deselected that, this wouldn't necessarily be relevant. But if you were running on in-stream, you would want to make sure to input some related videos that are relevant to whatever product or service you're advertising. For the sake of this video, I'm going to say that this is for an outdoor equipment cleaner or a farm equipment cleaner type product that we're advertising. So I had a couple related videos that I had linked on my other screen over here. I'm just going to paste those in here. So this guy, Tractor Time with Tim, talking about how to make lots of money with your tractor. And then this other guy, Good Works Tractors. So just some related to that specific audience. Obviously, you want to do some research and put a little more time into that, but that's what you would do, is put some actual related products. Product feed, since this is an e-com focused campaign, you would want to use Google Merchant Center to show products with your ads so that people can actually see the products that you're trying to advertise. For additional settings, I would always set specific targeting for devices. And we're going to want to make sure that you deselect TV screens in this instance, because if your YouTube Shorts ad is showing on TV screens, it's a little bit harder to engage with that than on a computer, a mobile phone, or a tablet. For frequency capping, we are going to cap the impression frequency. So this is essentially the amount of times that the ads in this campaign can show to the same person in a given day or whatever time period that you select. The reason I wouldn't want to select cap view frequency is because a view is only attributed to a campaign if someone watches at least 30 seconds of your ad, or the entire duration of it if it's less than 30 seconds. So obviously we don't want to continue to bombard the same person over and over again. I'm sure this has happened to you. It's happened to me, where you continue to see the same YouTube ad and you're like, I'm never buying from this company ever, or I'm never using this service because this is the most annoying crap that I've ever dealt with in my entire life. So the impressions cap, I'll put it 3. For ad schedule, so we are going to run this all days, but what I'm going to do, and this is a little bit of a hack, is do Mondays and Fridays and then select Saturdays and Sundays as well. So it's basically unchanged from what it was before, but by default, if you don't change that, Google will not show you reporting by day or by hour. I'll show you the specific report in Google Ads, but it won't show you that data in this report. And when you actually set it like this, you'll be able to see data for every single day and every single hour of every single day. So it's a little bit of a hack. For ad group name, like I said, we're going to get back to that. So for product filter, if you are advertising a particular product in this YouTube campaign, you would obviously want to segment this by specific products, not all products, because this is not a catch-all. So you would want to segment that by specific products, unless it is a general YouTube campaign that's just for everything across the board. So you're going to adjust your demographic targeting to whatever fits your ideal customer profile if you have that research already done. If not, I would just keep it broad and allow Google to do its thing to find your audience. But in this example, let's just say that we're advertising to males that are between the ages of 25 plus. We would just do that. You can obviously look at additional demographics as well, parental status, household income. I'm not going to make any adjustments to that. For interests and detailed demographics, basically what you're going to do here is add some interest related targeting. So since this is an off-road equipment cleaner or a farm equipment cleaner, we could do like lawn care, so like lawn care and gardening supplies, possibly. I had some other ones written down: farming, manufacturing, like some blue collar stuff, because the audience for this product is maybe really blue collar. So you could do manufacturing companies or manufacturing services, people who work in the manufacturing industry or the construction industry, random things like that. And I'm kind of just selecting some random stuff, but like off-roading might fit with this, off-road vehicles, ATVs, Can-Am ATVs, etc. I'm just selecting some random stuff there. So as it pertains to your data, this is where you'd have the example to put in some first-party data. For the YouTube campaign, I wouldn't do this because then it's going to operate as a remarketing campaign unless you specifically exclude those audiences as well, but it doesn't make sense to include them and exclude them. If you're running on Performance Max and using first-party data, it would use it as a lookalike. But in this instance, it's going to help us reach your customers, in the words of Google. And we don't want this showing to our existing customers in this instance because we want to try to acquire new customers. So I'm not going to change that at all. For additional audience segments, make sure you select that drop down. Custom search terms, you would just want to put in some things that are related to what people would search for if they were looking for a product or service similar to yours. So like outdoor equipment cleaner, and I actually already had a list here that I put together, but if you wanted to search, you could do like new custom search terms and then put a bunch of things in here like outdoor equipment cleaner. I spelled that wrong. Cleaner. It doesn't matter. Farm equipment cleaner, ATV cleaner, off-road cleaner, things like that that are relative to whatever you're actually advertising. So I already had this list in here that I created, so I'm just going to use that. For exclusions, this is where you would want to exclude a remarketing list. So like I said with the first-party data stuff, what I would want to do is potentially exclude past purchasers if you only want this YouTube campaign to run to new customers. And you can see even Google says that your data can include your customers, website visitors, app users, and more. So we don't want this to continue to re-show to our customers over and over again. For audience expansion, we're going to keep this deselected. We do not want to do this. We only want to use the parameters that we've given YouTube. There are instances where I might consider doing this, but for 95% of cases, I don't. So where you want your ads to show, so we can add keywords in here as well. So things that are related to the products or services to help us target relevant content. So what you could do in here if you wanted to was enter in things that are honestly similar to the search terms that you put in before. If you want to do that, honestly, I like to just focus on placements for the most part. So particular YouTube channels that are in alignment with whatever your target audience is, so that those people would better resonate with the ads that you're actually putting on those channels. So we talked about Tractor Time with Tim earlier. I can't remember what the other one was called. Good Works Tractors, like those might be some channels worth putting in there. So you might want to put in those YouTube channels. So like, I'll just do Tractor Time with Tim, for example. So you can find his channel there, and then your ads would show on there. It does say that you need to have more placements, basically. Add more channels and videos or remove the ones you've already added to make sure that there's multiple places that Google could show your ad. So you'd want to find additional relevant channels on here to add to that list. But I'm just going to put that in there for now because for the sake of this video, it might take a long time. So here's where you add your video ads. So you would actually go in here and paste the link to that video. So if you film an ad, what I would recommend doing is uploading that to a Google Drive, giving it a unique name, and then also uploading that to YouTube. And you can private it. It doesn't have to actually be public on your channel, but as long as you have a link to it, Google can associate that video with your YouTube channel and run it through the Google Ads platform. So you'd basically paste that link to your YouTube video in here, and I'm just going to paste a random link, for example, not one that's specific to what I'm trying to advertise. Obviously, you'd want to paste your own video in here. I put Tractor Time with Tim's video in here for the sake of the video. but you'd want to use your actual owned assets, of course, and create a YouTube video specific to this campaign. You can see we're running on shorts only here. What I would do is put your URL in here. You could put a path in here to be a little more descriptive about what people are going to see when they go to that URL, if they read the URL. Your call to action, since this is e-com focus, is always going to be shop now. Headline is 30 characters, long headline is 90, description is 90. You want to make sure you're very descriptive and concise about what your product is, what your offer is. In the headline, I would put whatever your product is and be clear about that. And your headline and description is where you kind of explain your offer, call out your audience, do a little bit of that. But we'll just say outdoor equipment cleaner. And do not take these as best practices. I'm just putting things in here so that Google lets me continue. But for long headline, the best outdoor APC for farmers, workers, shop now, risk-free, something like that. And then for your description, you would just put something similar there as well. But when you have a companion banner, this is essentially pulling from your YouTube channel banner and shows like a link as well to go to the URL. This is where like the shop now link would display for non-shorts ads. So it's not necessarily relevant for this instance, but what you would do is make sure you have a good channel banner on your YouTube channel so that Google, when it pulls it from there, doesn't pull some stock image or some random design, that there's actually like some intentionality behind what your channel banner says. Maybe it shows your brand logo, has a CTA of its own, showcases a product or explains something, etc. For your ad name, what I want you to do, like I said, I want you to upload the video ad to your Google Drive to house it there so you can share it with your team or an agency that you're working with and give it a specific name. And whatever that specific name is, I want you to put the same exact name in this ad name spot. And what I call that is a creative ID. It's essentially just the name of the creative so that someone who has access to that drive can easily reference what that creative is. And you can tell them how it's been performing, what elements of it have been performing well, so that they can easily reference it and see, oh, this is the video that they were talking about. And these are the changes that need to be made to that video so that we can quickly reference it. What I would do here is turn off get vertical versions of your video. So this is essentially Google just changing existing videos that you upload. So it enhances the versions of your videos for a better viewing experience. So we're going to put in vertical videos anyway, so I would turn that off. And then for your bid, you're going to see something that Google will recommend typically. Google will typically recommend a target CPV. It doesn't look like they are in this instance, but what I would do here is I would just set this to like $1, which is higher than your actual target cost per view should be. And your cost per view is going to be lower than that. The reason I set it a little bit higher is because YouTube will actually start serving your ads a lot quicker, and then you can adjust from there. But if you set a really low target CPV, it's going to take a lot longer for your ad to get off the ground and to get things going. So from there, you're just going to click create campaign. Obviously, you're going to want to go through and make sure you have everything entered in here that's actually relative to your product or service. You have your YouTube video. Don't actually put in somebody else's YouTube video in the video that you're advertising. You'd want to upload your own YouTube video and put it in here. Make sure you have all of these other things in place. So now that we've kind of gone through here, I'm going to show you what the naming convention I would use for this is. So I have this naming convention sheet. I'm going to drag this over. So at the campaign level, I have manager identifier, campaign type, subtype, placement, offer or product, and then targeting, and then version. So it's kind of a lot here. And I'm actually going to remove this version part because that's no longer relevant. But basically what this would be named is SS, because Salka Search is the manager. So if you have someone specific that's managing it or an agency that's managing, I would put an identifier there if relevant. You don't necessarily have to do that, but I do. What I would do is YouTube, video view, shorts, and then your offer or product, I'll just say outdoor APC, outdoor all-purpose cleaner. And then targeting would be place keyword and placement, or placement depending on if we put both keywords and placements. In this instance, like I said, I did not put any keywords in there. You could put keywords in there, but I would just put placements. Or placement, sorry. And then from there, for ad group naming, you would do the type of ads, whatever detailed targeting you put in there, and then channel placement. So for type of ads, I look at this as like a theme-based thing. So if we were to run an ad group specific to one audience that we're targeting, if you have multiple audiences, like let's say this product is relevant to the farm/blue collar audience, but it's also relevant to people who want to clean their wheels and tires, like you would want to kind of segment those. So the reason I put type of ads is so I can put like farm and outdoor creatives, male 25 plus, blue collar interests, farm and outdoor channels, because that's in alignment with everything that I put in there. Like I said, males from the age of 25 and on, only targeting males, no females, so we're making sure that's clear here. Blue collar interests would be any of these blue collar interests that we inputted. And then farm and outdoor channels. So we put Tractor Time with Tim, and I would put probably 5 to 10 additional YouTube channels that are actually in alignment with our audience and what types of channels they would be perusing to make them interested in our product or service. Then from there, I would click Create Campaign. That's really all you need to do for this type of campaign. And then after you do that, you're pretty much good to go. I would monitor it, the actual CPV, to make sure it's spending, your campaign is spending, and then adjust your cost per view bid accordingly. So that's the first way I would set this up. The second way that I would set this up, and I'm gonna go through this a little bit quicker, is with what's called a demand gen campaign. So what you're going to do is similarly, you'll click create campaign. I would just do without a goals guidance, it doesn't matter. Demand gen is what you're going to click here now. So drive demand and conversions on YouTube, Discover, and Gmail with image and video ads. So you're going to click continue. And then from there, you'd obviously name your campaign something specific. For demand gen, I keep it a little bit simpler. I would just do like SS, demand gen, and then outdoor EPC, and then like location targeting. So what I would do from here is, now that you've named your campaign, you would just go down here to obviously set your budget, whatever you want it to be. The main thing I want you to focus on at the ad group level, you give your ad group its name, you'd advertise specific products in there. So you would want to make sure to have a product feed campaign set up. You'd advertise the products that you're actually talking about in the ads that you put in here. So you'd segment them by those specific products, go through all the settings, whatever. Turn off optimized targeting there. But the one most important thing to make sure it shows on shorts only is to, under channels here, click let me choose, and then deselect everything other than YouTube Shorts. And then the other thing that I want you to do, when you actually set up your ad and put a video in here, and I'm going to use that Tractor Time with Tim video once again just to show you. So you would do this video and products ad, and then from there you would find a specific video. So I'm just going to use the Tractor Time with Tim one. Obviously you want this to be your video. But the other way to make this show on shorts only is to click this choose where your videos show, click this prefer on, and deselect everything except for shorts. So this virtually guarantees that it's only going to show on shorts, because you not only said that at the ad level I want this to show on shorts, but when you actually set up the campaign itself, you made sure that this is only going to show on shorts. Input your assets and then push that campaign live, but that's how you'd show that on shorts exclusively. So those are the two ways that I would set up an ad on YouTube Shorts to drive conversions and build your brand. Maximize the vertical ads that are already performing well for you on other channels. If you're already running ads on Meta or on TikTok, take the ones that are already winning, repurpose that, add it to another channel that runs 9:16, so those vertical videos, and test it and see what happens versus the other platforms. YouTube is going to continue to grow. It's an untapped opportunity that a lot of brands still are not focusing on. A lot of the people who are on TikTok and on Instagram or Meta are not using YouTube Shorts. There's a lot of untapped potential and new customers that you could find on YouTube Shorts that you're already finding on those other channels. And as promised, linked below is that naming convention sheet that you can use for the YouTube campaign that you set up. That's how I go about it. Now go get after it.